Hello and welcome to Never Seen It, a podcast where my husband Trent and I watch movies that one or both of us have not seen. Hi, Trent.
Hi, Betsy.
So today we are continuing our Oscar Best Picture journey. We are on movie number six.
Number six.
6 of 8. Today we will be watching Mank.
Mank.
With
Mr. Gary Oldman.
Academy Award winner.
Yes.
Gary Oldman. So what do you know about this movie, Trent?
Okay, so in Oscar nominations history, Betsy and I always joke about, well, the movie that, so for like the, costume design?
Yeah.
The Oscar for costume design, more often than not, goes to the movie with the most hoop skirts.
It's the hoop skirt rule.
Exactly. And the one that I have kind of come up with is, well, we've come up with is Hollywood loves movies about Hollywood.
Absolutely, they do.
This is a movie about Hollywood, especially old Hollywood.
Yes.
So what I know about this movie, it was a guy with the nickname Mank. I don't actually know what his full name is. Mm-hmm. He was the screenwriter of the movie Citizen Kane. Now, back in the day, movie writing and movie producing was very, very different than what it is now.
Yep.
They were still in the transition from like silent films moving into the talkies that were of the day. We're in the transition to what modern filmmaking is still to this day.
Well, and Orson Welles, if he was nothing, he was an innovator. He
was way ahead of his
forward
time.
thinking. Yeah, so admittedly, I have only seen Citizen Kane one time.
Same here.
So one time I've seen this movie, and all I could think while I was watching it was, this movie, how did this movie get made?
Yeah.
When it got made, because it's very ahead of its time, the way it is filmed, the way it is acted, the way it is edited.
The sets, the acting, the amount of scenes.
Yeah.
It's a long movie. There's a lot of sets.
Mm-hmm. It takes place over a very long period of time.
There's a great makeup in this. Hell, you could make that movie today and it would look just as good.
Yeah. So this movie, Mank, obviously it's about the screenwriter who came up with this. So it will be interesting to get some insight into that process. But from the trailer, it looks like he's a bit of a problematic figure. He's an alcoholic or something, who gets one too many chances. I don't know anything else about this man. It is, in its way, a biopic. I don't know what his actual name is. I don't know what this movie is particularly about. I know that they filmed it to look the way something like Citizen Kane looks. It's in black and white.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I think the people in Hollywood really appreciate. Like, what was it? It was The Artist.
Yes.
Back in 2011.
Give or take.
Yeah, because that was actually one of the first movies we went to see as a couple.
Yep.
We went to see The Artist, and it was a silent movie, set probably before this was, and it was shot very much in that vein. And it won Best Picture.
Yes.
So, hell, I don't really know. This year is really strange. Going into this, I'm not that excited about it.
Yeah.
I think just because of that. I've seen movies like this.
I think it's going to be very stylistically interesting because they're doing it. Now, I've seen way more old movies than you have.
Sure.
So I'm probably going to pick up on that element a lot more and appreciate that element a lot more than you probably will. But this is another David Fincher movie. So he's an excellent, excellent director.
Sure.
We have seen many of his movies. So I think it will be very well directed. Obviously, his go-to musician, people who do the music, composers, whatever word I'm looking for, is Trent Reznor and Atticus Finch. They do all the music for him, and they have done for a decade.
His name is Atticus Finch?
Wait, what is it? No,
You said Atticus Finch.
Oh, Atticus Ross. Atticus Ross. Sorry, not Atticus Finch. Other Atticus. I get so caught up in the fact that his name is Trent Reznor and your name is Trent that I get distracted by everyone else.
Yes.
But yes, so I think it will be very interesting to hear what kind of music they do because of the style of movie this is.
I think it's going to evoke that era.
Yes, I'm used to them doing music for like Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which is really moody and dark, and The Social Network. This is a very different sort of movie from those, at least on the surface.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested how that translates.
Remind me, what was the movie about the writer who was put on the blacklist? Trumbo.
Yeah.
Now, I liked that movie, mainly because of the actor in it who played Trumbo.
Bryan Cranston.
Yes, Bryan Cranston. I really enjoyed that movie, and I think I don't think it got nominated for Best Picture, but I think he got nominated for Best Lead Actor.
Yes.
I enjoyed that movie quite a bit. I imagine it's going to be a little bit similar to this movie is going to be a little bit similar to that one in that, hey, here's this guy who is maybe a little eccentric, that everybody in Hollywood knows him and appreciates him maybe for other things. But yeah, it's probably going to be more in that vein than some of the other like classic movies that we've seen that were very serious about it.
Yeah. I have to imagine this movie isn't going to be all drama.
No. Based on the one
humor.
trailer I've seen, like the little trailer that Netflix shows you when you hover over it, it looks a little bit more irreverent than you would maybe see out of a movie like this, even made back in the day.
Well, and the poster that they keep showing that I keep seeing is he's like on a table like toasting.
Yeah.
And he's got his mouth, he's like cheering.
I imagine there's going to be a lot of drinking in this movie.
I think there probably
drinking
will be.
and smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1930s debauchery in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So we'll see. So that's kind of what I know. I don't really think I know a whole lot contextually. That's just all assumptions I'm making.
Amanda Seyfried.
Seyfried, yeah.
The dude from Game of Thrones, the father.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know the actor's name.
The Lannister.
Yeah. Tywin.
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
I don't know his name, but
Yep, he's in it, and I think I want to say Pedro Pascal is in this too.
Okay.
Maybe. I'm not 100%.
I know he's in it. But yeah, those are the only people I know in it, other than the lead. So he is nominated for Best Actor.
Yes, he is. I want to say Amanda Seyfried might be nominated too.
She might be
for Best Supporting.
Yeah.
Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah. So
we'll verify that. But so we're gonna go watch this movie and see what gaps we can fill in on our knowledge, because I don't think either of us knows much. So let's go find out.
We'll be right back.
So we just finished watching Mank. Initial thoughts?
I think it was exactly what I expected it to be. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it.
Okay.
I think the way the movie was shot, the way everything was put together, the presentation, if you will, was really good.
Absolutely.
I loved to look at it.
Yes, I think this movie fundamentally is one made for people who love movies.
Who love film.
Who love film movies.
Yeah.
Yes. The way it is shot, the sets, the sound, the audio in particular.
The audio in general was true to its origins.
Yes, so I was just sitting here while we were getting set up, and I was on IMDb looking at the trivia, and it said it's a mono track, so basically all of the sounds are on a single track.
I had to up our sound system to be able to hear everything coming through one speaker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is absolutely the old way of filmmaking, which is why filmmaking in those days, the sound is sort of all over the place. You hear footsteps really loud, but then like the voices will be really quiet, but then you hear the crackling of the film. They didn't go so far as to add crackling to this, which I was kind of surprised. But did you notice they added the little pop?
Yeah.
On the film. So if you've ever watched old movies that were actually done on film, it's a physical medium. So every little imperfection, every little piece of dirt, every grain.
They also had the little burn marks up in the upper right-hand corner.
Exactly.
That is explained in the excellent movie Fight Club. Is that also a David Fincher movie?
That is also a David Fincher
There
movie.
you go.
But yeah, so they would just periodically have up in the corner of the screen just a little burn mark, a little hole, a little imperfection in the quote film.
And if you've never had this explained to you or watched Fight Club, that is an indicator. What?
Well, no, you're mixing things. So the little burn thing, there's a little in Fight Club. What they explain is it's an X.
Yeah.
So it's an X and then another X, and that's to indicate that you need to change the reels of the film.
Yes.
This wasn't that. This was
No.
literally just a little burn mark, a little hole. It's just an imperfection in the film, which is really funny because this was filmed in 8K digital.
Of course. Of course.
Another thing I just read was that there is no color version of this movie. It was completely filmed in monochromatic 8K. So that's really cool.
And of course, the thing that I find a big word is incongruous is we're watching this movie on a big 4K TV
Right.
with 5.1 surround sound, and it is crisp, a crisp film print that we are watching this on, and a crappy mono sound coming out of the speakers. I almost asked you, should we put on subtitles? Because good God, can I not understand anybody?
Was that because it was the mono track or because of the way they were talking?
Everything.
Everything?
I think it made it harder it would have made it harder to understand if it was a modern day thing.
Yep.
But because of how they were speaking,
Yes.
it made it that much harder.
Yes, this is authentic 30s and 40s dialogue. The way that
cadence,
people
yeah.
spoke and the way it was written, absolutely authentic to this era. Like the scene that I made a note about was when they're first at the mansion at the big house and they're having a big party and they're talking about politics.
I love that scene.
They were going so fast
Yes.
and jumping all over the place. It was almost to the point of being incomprehensible. Like it's
They
so...
were jumping between different people and different topics
Yes.
all at the same time. And that's parlor talk.
Yeah.
You know, and I made a note about, like, that was actually my favorite scene of the whole movie.
I would say it was mine too, but it was almost... I almost got lost.
Yeah, totally. You know, they're talking to me. This is the 1930s, the late 1930s.
Well, mid in that scene. It's like early
Oh, yeah.
mid.
Yeah, okay, so still, it's after World War II.
No.
I'm sorry, after
Before.
World War One, before World War II.
In the Depression.
Hitler is basically in power in Germany.
On the rise.
On the rise,
certainly.
sure. And they're talking about, oh, yeah, why would you ever take Hitler seriously? You know, he calls himself a socialist. That's not you know, they're just... I love movies that depict how people talked about the current era.
Yeah.
What was going on in that time.
And news traveled differently in those days.
Exactly. And, you know, we got a freaking newsman in there. Oh, I guess he's not really a newsman. He just owns the papers.
So do you know much about William Randolph Hearst?
I looked up some information about him. So, he's known for being this mogul of publishing and magazines and newspapers.
He was kind of a sensationalist type of publisher.
If you remember your textbooks from school, he was basically one of these guys who got us into the Spanish-American War.
Really?
Yellow journalism.
Okay.
Yeah, that was him.
I don't know much about the Spanish-American War, to be completely honest.
The short version is they printed stories to get the U.S. involved, false stories
Gotcha.
that got the U.S. involved in that conflict.
Yep.
Now, back in the early aughts, he actually did run for office. He was a Democrat from California. He actually got into Congress. He served for 2 terms. In Mank's little diatribe at the end of the movie, he actually talked about that. He got into Congress, served 2 terms, and didn't sponsor one piece of legislation.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's basically him being a big shot, being a big rich guy, getting into Congress, and then doing nothing. He got power just to have power, not to do anything with it.
Right. Well, yeah, I don't know a whole... I don't frankly know anything about William Randolph Hearst, except that that's the whole crux of this movie, is they're writing... He's writing Citizen Kane about him.
Yeah.
And anybody who knows anything about Citizen Kane knows that it's based on a real human person. the person who wrote this movie was Jack Fincher. You noted that at the beginning.
Yep.
That is David Fincher's father, who actually passed away in 2003.
Oh.
So this must have been something he had been working on for some years.
Wow, okay.
And they produced it posthumously. Because I was like, okay, of course, Jack Fincher. Is this his son? Is this his father? Who is it? It is David Fincher's father.
Wow.
But yeah, it says he passed away in 2003. And I think this got nominated for writing. Actually, it's not. So this film did not get nominated for screenwriting, which I'm kind of frankly surprised by. But this one, so far to date, of the ones we've watched, has the most. This is 10 nominations.
Real? Okay.
And most of them technical. But I'm kind of surprised that the writing didn't
a
fall into the
movie
category.
about screenwriting doesn't get nominated for screenwriting is something odd. Let's
Right,
say.
right. But yeah, the dialogue was very authentic. It was very snappy.
Yeah.
The way it was shot, the way it was acted, the costumes, the makeup, like this is a spot on representation of this time. One thought I did have, because you had commented earlier about Hollywood loves movies about Hollywood.
Yep.
And they had some big hitters in this movie. So if you talk about the golden era of Hollywood, the early days, the Louis B. Mayers, the David O. Selznicks, those big companies, those people are kind of in here.
And I totally thought that you were going to just glom onto this movie and recognize all these different names that they were just rapid fire saying.
In a lot of cases, yes.
Yeah. And like they casually mention F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Right.
As just what do they call him? Scott Fitzgerald or like
Yeah.
F. Fitzgerald or something like that?
Yep.
Just casually, oh yeah, that guy. What the hell? You know?
But you had said this is, Hollywood loves movies about Hollywood. And one of the thoughts I had was, this is a movie that's supposed to have taken place 90 years ago.
Yeah.
If you think about the oldest voting members of the Academy, they were alive or very, very young at this. So it's kind of an interesting movie that it got made at all, because there's so few people left from this era who really understood it, who really appreciated it. This is an homage. This is a love letter to that era from people who weren't there for it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really interesting because, like I said, the voting populace of the Academy Awards weren't alive. The majority of them were not around for this.
And a lot of the movies that we've talked about, Hollywood loving Hollywood, those were made in like the 50s and 60s. The movies that we're talking about. And like we mentioned The Artist last time.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people who look fondly upon, the silent movies of that era, and they want to preserve that in any way they can. Yeah, so Hollywood loves movies about Hollywood as long as they can get authenticity out of it.
Yeah.
They don't want to embellish a whole lot of things.
It's typically some kind of a love letter.
Yeah.
And they've been doing this forever. So Singin' in the Rain was made in 1952, and it is a musical about the dawn of talking pictures. And that was, at that time, 20 years prior.
Sure.
But they were even doing it in the 50s.
Yeah.
And they've been doing it for 70 years.
And, it makes sense. You don't make movies unless you like movies.
Yeah.
And what are you going to make movies about? Movies.
Yeah, I would say as far as Mank is concerned, it was very well executed. So even like the title card.
Oh, that was cool.
The title card being like font scrolling over camera footage of the sky. That's very early.
You could actually
Hollywood.
Like sense or see the cards being drug across the scanner or whatever you want to call it. At the very beginning for the title cards. That was cool.
Yep. That nailed it. When they're depicting his car accident and they're very clearly in a car on a sound screen, like playing against an actual screen showing footage of them driving, and then the car rolls. Just little touches like that. I think they just really nailed it.
Also, what I wrote here was the transitions from scene to scene, where they don't necessarily iris out, but they fade out. Yeah, they kind of fade out, but they leave the lights. If there's a light on screen, they leave the light on, and then that fades out afterwards. That was a great touch.
I really liked the music in this. Again, it was very, very authentic. Like, I kept thinking, it kept reminding me of The Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what it is
They mention The Wizard of Oz in this.
Well, because I'm looking things up because I don't know a whole lot about this man. Herman Mankiewicz was a contributing writer to The Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
I don't know to what extent, but he has a credit on IMDb for that.
They said something to the effect of The Wizard of Oz is going to bankrupt that studio because it costs so much money.
Right. And it makes sense because the movie takes place in 1940 when he is writing Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
The Wizard of Oz came out in 1939.
Yeah.
So that makes total sense that everyone would be talking about The Wizard of Oz. It hadn't really made a splash. Movies didn't come out and make $100 million in 2 days like they do now.
Yeah.
It was a slow burn. It took months for movies to make their money back.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't make your money back in the first 2 days, you're a failure. Yeah. Your movie fails, even if you somehow have a slow build and over the months become this classic movie.
And for a lot of reasons. There's also a lot of other revenue streams for movies that did not exist back in the day. Back in the day, all you could get was the screen time. In later years, you could get video rentals. You could get video cassettes out there. You could get private screenings. But now you've got, you got streaming, you got DVDs, you got Blu-rays, you've got everything digital on demand. There's so many different revenue streams out there that you might completely bomb at the box office, but then you get picked up afterwards.
Right. Well, and, we could talk about this too. This entire movie. This movie is on Netflix.
Yeah.
This movie was paid for and produced and put on Netflix.
Yeah.
If this movie was just showing in the theater, this is the definition of an art house movie.
Yeah.
This is not a mainstream film. This is not something that's going to go out and make millions of dollars in the box office.
They would say in select theaters only.
Right. I, as David Letterman used to say, I hope to God your city has been selected.
Exactly.
So I think it was a good movie. You made a comment right after it finished. It's only a little over 2 hours. It felt like a long 2 hours.
That was a long 2 hours, I said.
It's because not a lot really happens.
It's just kind of listless, just not really knowing where it's gonna go, why it's going there. It wasn't really about his life, but a very short period of his life.
Right.
And I think they nailed, by the end of it, they nailed it. Basically, he's getting screwed around by the studios, and Hearst, basically, he's got the studios in his pocket. He's contributing money to it so that, I don't know, maybe he's got some kind of stake in the studios or something. So Mank is getting screwed over by the studios. Nobody wants to work with him anymore. Maybe he's just washed up.
He's an old drunk.
As he even says, I'm washed up. But I think he just takes that as an inspiration to say, you know what? This guy, he's not all that great. He's got a lot of money. He thinks he's got a lot of power. He's just nobody.
That's a man who wrote a piece based on a vendetta.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't even really hate the man.
No.
He just doesn't think...
He just wants to bring him down a peg.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of Citizen Kane.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
And I remember very little about Citizen Kane. I watched it because I was very curious about it. After all of the references in The Simpsons, I had to go and see it for myself. The same thing with The Godfather, but I haven't seen The Godfather yet. We'll get to that eventually. But for this one, I had to sit down and watch it, and I liked Citizen Kane. I think it was way, way ahead of its time for what it was. I think Orson Welles, I should probably look up more of his stuff because dude seemed like a straight-up genius for his time. A creative genius.
A
genius
wunderkind.
Anyway. Yeah. And they keep talking. He's like 20 years old in this.
24.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at this point, he had already done War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
And are you familiar with that story about what happened with that?
Yeah.
So for the listeners out there who aren't familiar with this, in the mid-30s, Orson Welles had a radio show in New Jersey. And he produced a version of The War of the Worlds. He did a radio play. And because it was so well done and so convincing, people who were listening genuinely thought the world was being invaded by aliens. It was causing a tremendous uproar and panic until they had to like put out a press release saying, this is a radio show, guys. This is fake. Thank you. I'm glad you found it believable, but it's not
like
real.
In 2021, somebody put out a funny meme that people thought was really serious.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had already done that. And then, obviously Hollywood came a knockin' and they gave him a lot of freedom.
Threw everything at him.
Here's
all the money in the world.
Creative control.
We want you to do exactly what you want with who you want with whatever budget you want, basically.
Yep, your collaborators, your money. RKO Studios will foot the bill.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's another one of those. RKO just kind of, once upon a time, was this big studio, and then it vanished.
Yeah.
And it vanished. But yeah, Orson Welles was married to Rita Hayworth.
Uh-huh.
Did you know that?
I just looked it up a
You
little
just
bit
looked it up. Fun fact. Go back to the studios things for a second. So they touched on a few of them. So they talked about RKO, they talked about Warner Brothers, they talked about Paramount,
MGM,
and
Paramount,
MGM.
Universal was mentioned once.
Universal. Okay, they didn't say Paramount, but they did say Universal.
At the very beginning, he's at Paramount.
Okay, cool. But MGM. So Louis B. Mayer and MGM.
Yeah.
Louis B. Mayer was not a man to be fucked with. Like that dude. I've never read like a biography, but I've just heard mention of him as a man, and he was a behemoth in that industry. Okay, and it's very interesting to me now because MGM, what they were in the 30s, they were the biggest movie studio in Hollywood.
MGM,
now,
guys, is the beginning with the Lion. He actually mentions
they
the
have
Lion.
one celebrity, and it's the Lion.
Yeah.
We have one Hollywood star.
Yeah.
But MGM now, they have one property. Do you know what the property of MGM?
James Bond.
Correct. They own exactly one thing, and they will never sell it, and that is the one thing keeping their doors open, is that MGM owns the rights to James Bond.
And I don't know if that is just in perpetuity, if they got that early enough on that it's like, oh, this contract is a really, really good deal. We don't need to make anything else.
Well, I don't even think it's that. I think they were just smart enough to hang on to something as they were getting rid of stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Or they just lucked out. I don't know.
I mean, if they were getting rid of things, I mean, these days, intellectual property is the gold.
Yeah.
Like, you have to hold on to your IP, otherwise you have nothing.
Yeah.
Because, hey, these days, everything gets a sequel. All of the successful movies out there that you think about, they're going to get a sequel.
Yeah.
Because money.
They
don't care about, most studios, let's say. Most studios, they don't care about putting out good work or putting out an important film. No, they just want to see the dollars and cents. Which, hey, they're a business. I get that.
Right. Which is actually, in the case of Mank, good for them to be on Netflix because Netflix is doing what RKO did to Orson Welles. We will foot the bill. You make whatever you want.
Yeah.
Because
and
David Fincher got to make this movie his dad wrote.
Yeah. And Netflix has done that with a lot of other movies.
Yeah. And would this movie have seen the light of day if it were not for them backing
Who knows?
the product?
Who knows?
Who knows? But
well, the same thing about the Scorsese movie from last year.
Oh, the
Irishman. That movie would not have been made with studio money. That was what was it, 3.5 hour?
Oh, God, it was so long.
It was so long. Now,
I didn't like The Irishman.
I like The Irishman better than Betsy did.
I just didn't see the point of The Irishman. I never want to revisit it. Like, some movies I will be like, okay, maybe I was wrong. Yeah. Maybe I was too young and I was misunderstanding it. Then when I was 35 years old, I don't think I need to see it again.
It did not respect your time.
No.
I'll say that much.
I just saw a bunch of guys who had photoshopped faces to look younger who moved like 75-year-old men.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, it bothered me. I'm off topic, but it bothered me immensely. A year later, I'm still bothered.
My point is, that movie would not have been made and released as a normal kind of a movie to put out in theaters and get your popcorn and go see The Irishman from Marty Scorsese. No, nobody's gonna go to that.
A 3.5 hour love letter to the mob.
Right. It wasn't even that good. Yeah. Dude needs an editor.
We actually appreciate Martin Scorsese in this house.
Sure.
But, sometimes your vision needs to be raked in just a little bit. Just a little bit.
And, I'll say this. Good for him for being able to get the gang back together. In a matter of speaking. Getting all those guys back together again for one last big hurrah. Good for them. I'm glad they did it. I'm glad they put it out. I'm glad it came together in however well it did. But we're not talking about The Irishman today.
We're talking about Mank.
Yeah.
Another little detail I noticed, and I would be curious, because I am unfamiliar with Citizen Kane, I don't know all of the beats. I know a few things, but I would be interested, if I had seen this movie many times, how many little winks there are to Citizen Kane in this. I caught one, and it's the first scene, and I don't even know exactly what he's drinking. He's got the case full of little bottles, and I think it's like a sedative. It's some kind of drug. I'm not 100%, but it knocks him the hell out.
Yeah.
And the first time he's got it in his hand, and it rolls out of his hand and it hits the floor.
Yes.
Which, if anybody knows anything about Citizen Kane, the opening shot is he drops the snow globe.
Yes.
So that was very, very obviously a wink to the film Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
I, as a one-time viewer of that film, don't know how many more there were. But I have to imagine it was littered with them.
I don't think it was like all that explicit. I think it was mainly how things were shot.
Yeah.
It's like the light coming in from the windows.
Right.
It's those homages and how it was filmed, I think is what they were really going for here.
Well, the bottle was absolutely a wink.
Totally.
Duh. This was another movie that was riddled with British actors playing Americans. And there was actually one British actor playing British, and that was Lily Collins.
Yeah.
Daughter of Phil Collins.
Why did I need to know that?
Because if you need to know anything about Lily Collins, it is who her father is. I don't know.
I'm shaking my head.
She's an up-and-comer in her own right. It's just a fun little nugget.
I've heard the name. I just don't know why I need to hear her name more.
But Charles Dance from Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Obviously, Gary Oldman.
Yep.
The woman who played Gary Oldman's wife, I have actually seen in like BBC dramas before, so she is also British.
Amanda Seyfried?
No.
Gary Oldman's
Gary Oldman's wife,
okay.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's also. No, Amanda Seyfried's an American.
Yes, very much so.
Yes. Yeah, she was pretty good in this.
Yeah, I liked her accent. I think she was believable.
Her New York, Bronx
Brooklyn.
thing. Bronx.
Bronx?
She was from the Bronx.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I looked it up. So she wasn't his wife. She wasn't William Randolph Hearst's wife. She was his mistress. But they were together for 20 plus years. They were together a very long time. So honestly, that probably answers your question as to why he is involved in the studios, because he is dating and he is living with an actress.
Right, and the way he is introduced, he is on set at her movie.
Yeah.
He's on that freaking cart, the camera cart, watching the horses go by.
Making a movie. Yeah.
So.
On his property, it would seem.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, his property that is a freaking zoo.
When you got a lot of money, why not put in a zoo and a garden and a fountain and a gazebo
with elephants and monkeys everywhere
and giraffes?
I didn't see any giraffes.
Yeah, you saw the giraffes. They pointed them out. They were like, "There's something about long necks," and then they ran away.
I was not paying attention.
Oh, you looked away. They were there.
Speaking of not paying attention, I did get a little bored.
A little bit. I was having a little hard. I was getting a little tired.
Keeping my attention is not hard in movies. I like talking movies, but I think it took enough out of me, enough effort to really pay attention to what's going on, that I just kind of lost it halfway through. Not that anything was bad. It just could not keep my attention fully.
And
the whole way through.
They were hopping back and forth in time, but they were doing it really effectively. Like they were saying, interior, this place, 1934, flashback.
They did it as if it were a script.
Yes. So they were giving that to you so you could follow along. And there was really only one part of the movie where they stopped doing that. And it's when he showed up drunk and they were kind of hopping back and forth between that scene where he's ranting and then him in the present day writing his script.
Yeah, and those were basically the last two scenes in the movie, which you could get.
Yeah.
Yeah, you as a viewer, you know what's going on. By that point, you knew.
But yeah, there's not a whole lot of plot in this.
No.
It's more a character study, if it's anything. It's this drunk middle-aged man, and here he is slightly younger in the golden age of Hollywood, and talking to all these big studio execs and actors and famous people that you've probably heard in passing at least.
I think in like the room where he's doing his bets with the coin.
Yep.
I think I recognize one name in that room.
I knew a few of those names, but I have no idea why. David O. Selznick is the only name when they all left to go and see him. Yeah. I think he directed Gone with the Wind. I'm pretty sure. So yes, David O. Selznick is one of those directors of that era. He was the David Fincher of his era. I don't know if that's a just comparison or not.
A few more notes here that I took. So it's important to really point out the era in which this was made, or that it takes place. This is Depression era Hollywood.
Yep. And
the reason why they're having so much difficulty with getting people to come out to the movies is because of the economic conditions. Mm-hmm. And what I've always, when Betsy and I have talked about this, what I always say, when there is an economic downturn, the first thing that people stop spending money on is entertainment.
I wouldn't know anything about that in the last year.
Yeah.
Nobody in the United States or anywhere else in the world is familiar with that concept in the year of 2020.
Yeah. But yeah, I get where the studios are coming from. You got to get people back into the theaters to part with their hard-earned 25 cents, as they say.
In those days, it was less than that. It was like a nickel.
Yeah.
A dime.
Which I mean, they made a scene there where Mayer goes up to the grips and the tech guys and
the whole studio, so to speak.
Yeah, all the people except for the talent, the people who actually make the movies but are not in the movies. But goes up to him and says, "Yeah, we're gonna have to cut your salaries by half
for the next 8 weeks, but we'll pay you back." And then he like sheds a tear, and then he's upset. How'd I do?
Yeah. Hey,
big phony.
Yeah, and he never does pay them back.
Oh yeah, they touch on that later, and he's like, "They didn't. He never made good on that." Yeah, about that. Why would he?
And he gets a standing ovation from the crowd as he leaves. Phonies.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's important to point out that, I mean, trying to get a hit, trying to get somebody to go out to a theater when nobody has any money, that's tough. And when it is a literal depression, things are bad everywhere.
Yep.
And they touch on the politics of the day. They're in California. There is a gubernatorial election, and they're touching on it for a good chunk of the last half of the movie, where there was a Republican running, and the studio head mayor was very much supporting them, and the studio itself was pressuring all of the employees of the studio to contribute to said campaign.
So they could say, we have 100% of the studio backing this candidate.
Yeah. And this is, of course, when the Screenwriters Guild was being formed.
Yep.
And these days, that would be a huge no-no. So
they were also very political back then. Like, everybody always talks about, oh, Hollywood shouldn't be political. It's like, it's always been political. Like, they turn around. Ronald Reagan was the head of the Actors Guild.
Yeah, I was on Wikipedia, and they have this neat little thing where when you look up the gubernatorial race of 1934, and there's a little arrow there that goes from next to next to next to next.
Yeah.
And I could see who all is. Hey guys, if you follow politics, California has not been a quote-unquote Democratic or liberal state forever.
Yeah.
They've had lots and lots of Republican and conservative governors.
Yeah.
Over time, it has become more liberal.
Right.
Over the years. But it was not that.
No.
In our lifetimes, there have been plenty of Republican governors.
Okay, well, and then, of course, the candidate they're talking about here is Upton Sinclair, which, if that name didn't ring a bell, he wrote the short story Oil, which is what became There Will Be Blood.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he wrote that, and amongst other stories. But I think that's kind of what they're referencing in this movie. They say something about they want to hand over the industry to California, and they say something about oil.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think that might be the story they're talking about. I don't know his oeuvre, as it were.
That's you bringing out the French.
Ouais. But yes, I can see the look on your face, so I know what you want to ask me about.
So who played that guy, Betsy?
Why was Bill Nye the Science Guy?
Inexplicably, a cameo appearance by Bill Nye
As Upton Sinclair.
as Upton Sinclair, the Democratic Socialist of his day.
Yeah, I was sitting here and I'm like, they don't show his face first. They're at a rally that's like across the street. And I hear him talking. I was like, I know this voice.
And they're filming him from behind. You don't
Yes.
see his face.
No, I was like, I know this voice. I know this. And then they show this tall, gangly dude. I was like, why is Bill Nye the Science Guy in this movie as a Democratic Socialist?
Yeah. And I looked up a little bit about him. Apparently, there was a part, like it was basically
About Upton Sinclair?
Yeah. He was a part of a socialist party back in the day before that became a faux pas.
Oh, yeah,
especially around Hollywood.
This is 20 years before we get to what you touched on earlier with Trumbo.
With the
Trumbo
blacklist,
is blacklisted because of the possibility of being involved. He just didn't even care.
No.
Like, go see Trumbo. It's a good movie. But he gets blacklisted because he's like, why should we care about socialism and communism and all that stuff?
Yeah.
And 20 years prior, in the 30s, it's kind of like a thing that people are okay with.
Right. They're open to other options.
He was running for governor.
Yeah, which is why even in this particular race, there were 3 candidates.
Yeah.
It was the Republican, the Democrat, who used to be a socialist, and another dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was a progressive party. Mm-hmm. So the liberal quote unquote vote got split. Mm-hmm. So the Republican who actually won got like 48% of the vote.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why Bill Nye was there. I personally found it a little distracting because, of course, I just go, Bill Nye.
Right.
Yeah, I think this movie was fine. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know that I didn't dislike it. Overall, I think it was just fine, though.
Yeah.
I think David Fincher has made some really excellent movies. I wouldn't necessarily put this one near the top. Mm-hmm. I thought Gary Oldman was very, very good in this movie. Again, for being a Brit playing an American, he holds on to it.
Yeah.
I thought Amanda Seyfried was really good, which, she doesn't have like a whole lot of like major movies to her credit to
yet.
date. That's all right.
Yeah.
Any other parting thoughts?
I wanted to say, the guy who plays Orson Welles
Yes.
sounds just like him.
Yeah.
He's putting on a really good Orson Welles voice.
Yeah,
I
I don't know where I got Pedro Pascal, but I wonder if
No.
just that side shot
Could be.
at the beginning
With
made
the
me think that's
beard.
who it was.
Yeah.
That guy did a good job. Like that, there is a running joke, I think, in Hollywood of people doing Orson Welles impressions.
Yeah.
Somewhere in here there was some mention of Maurice LaMarche, because of course there is.
Of course.
Where he was like reading all of the lines in his Orson Welles impression for the actor in this movie so he could get a feel for how to do it as Orson Welles.
Are you shitting me?
No. Well, and what I don't know, like right at the very end of the movie, they had an audio clip after the Academy Awards where they won. I would like to know if that was real.
I think that might have been real.
That one might have been real.
Yeah.
But that just goes
Because they
to
don't show
you.
any kind of video. It's just audio.
But that just goes to show you that if I'm not sure if that was real or fake, that guy did a really good job.
I think he did a pretty good job.
Yeah. Orson Welles is a very distinct character in Hollywood. Yeah. And once you've heard his voice, it is unforgettable.
Mm-hmm, totally. But yeah, I think the movie was good. I didn't hate it. Would I watch it again? Probably not. Yeah. Maybe after, if I was interested in learning more about old Hollywood and the old writers, like the formation of the Writers Guild and the old studios, if I was interested in more of that, this would be a great study on that.
Yeah, I think if I were going to watch it again, I would watch Citizen Kane first.
Totally.
I would watch Citizen Kane, then go watch this movie and see the things I missed.
This makes me want to go and watch Citizen Kane.
Yes. Yeah.
Which, I don't know what that says about this movie or what it says about Citizen Kane, but they're both good in their rights. Yeah. So, yeah, that's Mank.
So there you have it. So we've seen now 6 of the 8 Best Picture nominees. We've got 2 more yet to go here. So we still have to see Minari and Judas and the Black Messiah. I was like, what's the other one? I always take a long time to commit those all to memory. It's not that many movies, Betsy. Come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've got a couple more of those to go. And then the Academy Awards are April 25th, so we should have these all out in advance of that.
Yeah, and the current plan is that we're like Betsy said, we're gonna have all these out before Sunday of the Sunday of the Oscars. On that Sunday, we're actually gonna put up a special episode where we talk about all the movies put together. Okay. What that's going to contain, I don't actually know yet. We're going to talk about it, and we'll let you know.
Oh, but, and I didn't actually touch on that. Before we completely part, I'll give you the rundown of what this is up for, because it's always nice to know that. So like I said, this has 10 nominations.
Okay.
Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Director, Best Actress in a Supporting Role, Best Sound, Best Production Design, Music for Motion Picture Original Score, Achievement in Makeup and Hairstyling, Costume Design, and Cinematography. It's a lot of technical awards for this one. But
hey, a lot of the technical stuff, I would say, yeah, sure. Acting, I think Amanda Seyfried was good.
Yeah.
I think Gary Oldman was good.
Yeah.
Didn't blow my mind like a couple of the other guys we've already seen. So...
I would have given him an Oscar for other movies, but he didn't even get nominated for it. He got his one. Actor. He's got it.
Actor.
His actor.
His actor.
His actor Oscar.
Actor for acting. But in the meantime, as we always say, we have yet to actually receive an email or a tweet or anything from you people. Are you actually out there? Are you? I know you're listening. I can see the stats, guys. Yeah. Send us something. I don't care what it is.
Maybe. Tell us how you horribly disagree and that The Irishman is an incredible film and that I am wrong.
And it should have been 5 hours long.
I'll fight you. I won't fight you. We appreciate you all taking the time to get this far and listening to us.
Yes, indeed.
But yeah, if you want to tell us some movies you think we should watch based on these, maybe we've seen them, maybe we haven't.
Yeah.
Or you want to start a conversation about something we missed, like some detail in these movies.
Yeah.
Tell us. Point it out to us.
We are open for a post-mortem on this series and others because, hey, as soon as we're done with the Oscars, we're moving on.
It's a world of movies available to us.
We are in a deep dive of our movie collection right now just to see what we have and what we haven't seen yet.
It's a lot, guys. We're in for a ride.
Yeah, this is not ending anytime soon, so buckle up. But as I said, in the meantime, please email us.
Please.
neverseenitpod@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter. Tweet at us at neverseenit_pod on Twitter.
On the Twitter. So there you have it. Mank, one more for the books. So we'll be back in another few days. Not sure which one we'll watch next. But when we do, we'll let you know. So, as always, I've been Betsy.
And I'm in Trent.
So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
I've never seen it.